So I start here because I'm going to start here for thinking about the ways in which nudes might be feminist. This is a feminist act. You guys are going to a gallery today. I don't suggest you bring axes to galleries. I don't think that we should destroy art. I think we should analyze the heck out of it. I mean, I think that that's a really strong position that we can take. Some artists will say we cannot represent nude bodies or nude women bodies at all. It's always going to, any nude body that we represent is going to be enveloped in male fantasy, but other artists have come up with different strategies. And I'm just going to end our talk here today by giving you some examples. I think I have 4 or 5 examples of women artists who may indeed be great. They're all living artists. They're all living artists. And they're all artists who've been informed by the feminist art movement that was spurred on by Linda Nochlin. And they all take slightly different strategies. So here's the first strategy. This is Sylvia Slay. And this is her painting, Turkish Bath. This is from 1973. Who would like to hang this in your living room? Maybe. There's a great little clip. She's a very old woman now. There's a great clip where she's talking about this painting. But she talks about this. She says, these are all of her friends. This is her husband. These four men that are facing us, well, the 3 that are facing us, the one with his back to us, they were all artists and art critics that she knew. And the man on the right is just a beautiful man that he just used to run in her circles, and she said he was so beautiful, I just wanted to paint him. And she painted him many times. She painted him as a reclining nude many times. But you know what she's doing here is she's trying to reverse things. But the reversal is really interesting, isn't it? What happens when we put a male body in the position of the nude? We had laughter when I first showed it to you. It means something different. It means something very different. These bodies, you know, Laura Mulvey talks about the female body and particularly the nude as being sort of connoting to be looked atness. Women's bodies, you know, this is a term that often resonates with students. You know, we experience our bodies as objects of desire. We think about our bodies and ourselves as bodies that are looked at, always looked at. But when we put male bodies in this position, there's a disjuncture. It's a strange thing to look at. Yeah?
I would say that they're not surveying themselves as they're being surveyed. Like there's no sort of self-consciousness that someone's looking at me, so I have to like, you know,
there's
it's sort of just, I'm here.
Yeah. She said that they were all really willing to pose because they thought it would put them down in history, right? I mean, that was their experience of the portrait. It's not, okay, they're going to look, you know, I'm going to be looked at, I'm going to be gorgeous, and people are going to have desire for me, but, you know, there's a really different thing going, there's a very different sexual politics of the nude going on here. I want to show you that one. I also want to show you this one. I love this painting. I think this is just brilliant. This is called Me Without Mirrors, painted in 1974, so right in the very early moments of a feminist art movement. This is a self-portrait, and it's painted by Joan Semmel. What's going on here? It's her body. It's a female nude. But what has she done? She's disrupted the convention of the reclining nude. She's painted her body not as an object of a male gaze, but as a subject of her own experience. So she's actually, you know, looking down at her body, and this is what her body looks like. Not to men, not to, you know, people in the world, not to her lovers, but to her. So this is a reclamation of the nude, right? And her, you know, her feet are dirty, and she's just herself. Joan Semmel is in her 80s now. She's still painting nude portraits. This is her on the right-hand side at work. She's in New York, and this is her painting, you know, at work painting. And on the left-hand side, a painting called The Breakout from 2011. And this is a self-portrait, but it's 3 images of her all on top of one another. So, I mean, I'm showing you these images because I want for us to see how something like the nude, which has done a lot of, you know, gendered work historically in the history of art, can be done in different ways. I'm going to show you two more. This is Renee Cox. This is called Baby Back from 2001. This is just a classic pose. It's not a painting, it's a photograph. This is Renee Cox herself. It's a photographic self-representation. She is really interested in the ways in which black female bodies have been objectified. And I should note that we have looked at white female bodies. We've looked at youthful. Until we got to Joan Semmel, we looked at youthful bodies. The nude in the history of art is almost exclusively a white body. And it's that white body, that white femininity that is being represented and celebrated. She is interested in the way that black female bodies have been objectified, not as objects of beauty and desire, but all too often as exotic others, as figures of fascination. She tells us that if white women have been objectified, women of color are also dehumanized, or their representations are used to tell stories about racial hierarchy and racial difference. She's such an exciting artist, Renee Cox. She does lots of work with her own body. She does a lot of collaborative work. She talks about having the whip here and the high heels as signs of her power, right? And for her, this sort of reclamation and assertion of her own physicality and her own physical sexual power is a pushback against the conventions of the nude. I'm going to end here. This is Rebecca Belmore. She's a really celebrated Canadian artist. She's Anishinaabe. She's from Lac Seul First Nation in Ontario. And this is her painting, her photograph Fringe from 2007. It's a photograph. It's held at the National Gallery in Ottawa. And we have, again, a nude figure, a nude reclining figure. It's a youthful body. Markers of feminine desirability. But she has this long, large gash, a wound on her body. When Belmore talks about this, she says that the wound is meant to sort of disrupt the comfort of looking at the body. We're so used to looking at and consuming women's bodies through the nude as objects of desire. She has this mark that is a mark of disruption. These are beads that are dropping down from the gash, from the fringe. Or they are, the red things are the fringe. They look like blood, but they're a fringe on the tie.
Did she really cut her skin?
No, I'm not sure how she did it specifically, but it's not a real cut. It's meant to draw our curiosity. It's meant to repel us, and it's also meant to use the nude to address violence that's done to bodies, particularly Indigenous bodies. It's also a figure that's not dead from that wound, but reclining and resting and resilient. So there's been a lot more of me talking than you talking, but I'm going to share these images with Kristen, and she can put them on eClass. I encourage you to look at them again. Every time I look at them, I see new things. I think that, the takeaway here is, what is the takeaway? The takeaway here is there has been an enormous amount of feminist scholarship on the history of art. And that scholarship on the history of art has propelled the making of really exciting, challenging, disruptive works of art. So I know that you're moving on from here to the gallery downtown to DC3, and you'll see Cindy Baker's work. This is, as Kristen said, such a treat to be in the room with the artist. Cindy is a feminist artist. She is standing on the shoulders of the artists that we've looked at today, and certainly standing on the shoulders of the feminist art movement that a figure like the art historian Linda Nochlin enables. So I'm going to leave it at that. Thanks for having me today. Yeah. Yep.
Could you say a little something about, and I know this is totally performance art.
Right.
Whereas a lot of what we've seen thus far is visual art. And there's visual art integrated with the performance art.
Mm-hmm.
But is there something uniquely feminist or slightly resisting the history of art about performance art? Like what makes it different or?
Yeah, I mean, I think the exciting bit about performance art historically is that performance art gets invented in the late 1960s by groups of artists who are really critical of the world of art. So they want to be artists, but they don't want to buy and sell their work. So one of the things that they do is they engage in performance. It's really hard to sell a performance, right?
Yeah.
But they're also interested in pushing back against the idea that art is about some object that you make, right? So performance, I mean, what you're going to go see is not the result. I mean, it is the result of Cindy's long work, but it's not an object that is done. You know, it's not like you're going to go and look at it and take a picture of it and go. But it is going to be happening when you're there. So one of the things that's particularly exciting about performance art is that it has a completely different relationship to the audience or to the spectator.
Yes.
Right? It is not the case that the image is there and you take it or leave it, but you will be in the room with the artist, making the art together.
Yeah.
So I think a performance art is really reflecting on that relationship. Is that answering the question? Yeah. Yeah.
The other thing I was thinking about is there's another installation in the gallery at the exact same time, which is by a very successful, like by successful I mean like monetarily successful male artist, and it's a bunch of nudes of his own body.
Ah.
And
so exciting.
Maybe we can think about that one and Cindy's work in relation to what we've sort of seen today, and you can add some reflections to that in our discussion.
I would really encourage you to go and look at the work, all of the work that you're seeing, and think about who you are. Like, that's a big thing to ask. But like, think about how the work is inviting you to look at it or not look at it. I mean, I think that this is what Linda Nochlin and feminist art scholarship has done for art, which is to be really self-reflexive about relationships. So who is assumed to be looking? Right. Who's the art for? Who's it not for? And what do you, like, how are you a part of that relationship? I think that relationality is really important.
Sounds good.
Okay.
I'm going to dismiss my students.
I'm desperately jealous I can't come, so enjoy yourselves.
Yes.
Thank you.